cope with the fourth industrial revolution, Universitas Terbuka or UT has continuously been implementing many more developments and innovations as it efforts to establish the identity as a cyber university by utilizing the most state-of-the-art technologies. The wave of digital disruptions has dramatically changed the views of many sectors. In response to this new and modern world, UT adapts and invests in new technologies, including web-based system, where registrations, learning material development, tutorial, and final examinations are conducted online. Online registration system is developed to enable students to register for the courses through various devices, such as computers and smartphones. Students are able to access digital learning materials in PDF and EPUB formats in UT Digital Library. Online tutorials are now available for all courses that interactions occurs asynchronously. UT also offers synchronous learning that enables real-time communications and collaborations, such as web-based tutoring, e-lecturing, and video conferencing. UT has implemented online final examinations conducted at regional offices utilizing VPN technology to connect different regional offices throughout the country to the examination center at the headquarters. In 2018, UT made a significant breakthrough by introducing online proctored examinations that allow students to take online examination at the remote locations of their choice. UT is proud to offer open educational resources which we call Suaka Universitas Terbuka. It offers free online courses available for everyone around the globe at no additional cost. Suaka Universitas Terbuka offers UT TV on YouTube, UT Radio broadcast through the internet, online enrichment materials, digital library, Guru Pintar Online, a portal for teachers throughout Indonesia which allows them to access various information about teacher trainings, teaching and learning materials to improve their educational experiences. Suaka Universitas Terbuka provides massive open online courses or MOOCs. To enrich student learning experience, UT provides Dry Lab and e-seminar. Dry Lab enables students to perform practical work simulations with their computers. Meanwhile, e-seminar is dedicated to students who are required to present the results of their studies or research virtually. To obtain information about UT, communication channels are provided for students and general public, including Halo UT is to answer courteously inbound calls from students and public seeking information about UT. Digital marketing shares information through social media to connect with current and prospective students. To support e-learning, UT provides facilities to the students such as Wi-Fi ID, a free internet service for students using Wi-Fi hotspots in public locations provided by PT Telkom. Microsoft Office 365, free software for students to help them facilitate office documentation, communications, and management tasks. Central Layanan UT or SALUT is the extension of regional offices to bring services closer to the current students and prospective students. To ensure the quality in every single aspect, UT involves both domestic and international accreditation and quality assurance institutions, including the International Organization for Standardization, National Accreditation Board, and the International Council for Distance Education, ICDE.
We know that Universitas Terbuka share this commitment, providing world-class, accessible, higher education, and we're very proud to support you.
That Universitas Terbuka has assumed a leadership role in the field of open education resources or OER.
To face the era of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, Universitas Terbuka, or UT, is strongly committed to innovate in order to continue and sustain its identity as a cyber university. Various efforts has been taken by utilizing advances in communication and information technology, or ICT, to increase the higher education gross enrollment rate. Since its establishment on September 4, 1984, UT, with an open and distance learning system, has shown accomplishment in the distribution of quality higher education and increasing learning opportunities for all. The era of disruption has initiated the birth of more innovative and disruptive ways in the world of education. This will encourage the digitization of the education system. In response to this, UT has made various innovative changes, starting from registration activities, developing teaching materials, implementing tutorials, to examinations, which are all can be carried out fully online. Currently, UT holds more than 40 study programs for diploma, bachelor, master, and doctoral programs in management and public administration under 4 faculties. In addition, UT also provides certificate programs in the form of independent course programs, massive open online courses or MOOCs, continuing education programs, as well as instructional training programs and professional skills. Moreover, UT also provides a variety of open educational resources which can be accessed not only by students but also by general public for free. To maintain quality standards, UT periodically invites the National Accreditation Body for Higher Education, or BAN-PT. In addition, UT periodically and voluntarily invites international certification bodies to conduct quality reviews, namely the Organizations for Standardization, or ISO, and the International Council for Open and Distance Education, or ICDE.
UT in the era of new normal has further solidified its identity as the leader of distant higher education institution in Indonesia. By utilizing advances in technology and informations in supporting learning services, UT is proven at the forefront of distant education's innovations.
The fast-growing demands of digital era motivates us to continue improving the potential of integrated human resources that are capable to support productivity. This vast and rapid development needs an effective and modern learning solution that can keep up with the routines of today's society. A facility that can cope with the limitations of space and time. For many people, both limitations pose as major problems in developing themselves and enhancing their career in digital era. In the end, those problems will impact their lifestyle. Universitas Terbuka is here to answer those problems by applying an open and distance learning system. A system that has proven effective in increasing the coverage and equal distribution of excellent higher education for all elements of society. Our learning system. Our system allows students to have a flexible and open learning method, and it offers many advantages. First one is the registration period, which is open throughout the year, so no more worry about late registration. Flexible space, time, and place. This is useful for students who still want to develop their knowledge wherever and whenever they want. Easily access printed and digital teaching materials in all corners of Indonesia and other countries. Our system gives opportunity to people from all groups and ages to learn and develop their knowledge, as well as their skills in all fields. With 39 regional offices all across Indonesia and overseas service centers, we are always ready to support operational activities and cooperations with various national and international institutions. We have numerous facilities to support student activities and learning process, from UT Radio, UT TV, learning assistance to online library. Universitas Terbuka offers you 4 credible faculties: Faculty of Education and Teacher Training, Faculty of Law, Social and Political Sciences, Faculty of Economics, and Faculty of Science and Technology. With more than 35 study programs and postgraduate programs. Universitas Terbuka, making higher education open to all.
The Honorable Dr. Ethel Agnes Valenzuela, Director of the SEAMEO Bangkok, Rector of Universitas Islam Malang, and Vice Chairperson of Indonesian Rector Forum, Professor Dr. Haji Maskuri, M.Si, Rector of Universitas Terbuka, Professor Ojat Darojat M.Pd, Professor Paulina Pannen, M.Ls, the Director of Indonesia Cyber Education Institute, and all of the participants of today's webinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to you all. Praise Allah for His blessings so we can attend today's event. Today, on Thursday, 17th of February 2022, Universitas Terbuka is proudly present the 24th Knowledge Sharing Forum with the theme Upgrading Knowledge and Skills with Microcredentials. Knowledge Sharing Forum Universitas Terbuka 2022 is a forum for sharing knowledge and experiences on good practices that Universitas Terbuka regularly organizes. This 24th Knowledge Sharing Forum is in collaboration with Indonesian Rector Forum. It is an honor for our university because the 24th KSF was attended by very extraordinary speakers. The speakers will share their knowledge and experience on how to upgrade our knowledge and skills with microcredentials. Ladies and gentlemen, the audiences of 21st KSF is including students, educators, practitioners, as well as the public citizen. And now we are very happy to announce that the registered participant has reached 623 participants. And the participants are not only from Indonesia, but they are also international participants in this forum. Okay, for your information, the media for our today's webinar is the meeting. Video and speaker access is only granted to moderator and speakers, while participants can only listen. Participants can also join this webinar from UT YouTube channel through the link http://sl.ut.ac.id/streaming-ksf. And participants can ask questions to the speakers through this Zoom meeting or Q&A feature. The moderator will present the selected questions to the speakers for the response. Don't forget to write down your name and institution and to whom your questions will be addressed. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, to always develop the spirit of nationalism and patriotism, first let us sing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya. Please be seated with the perfect attitude. Okay, thank you. Now, let's start today's forum. Before that, maybe I want to greet all of the speakers, Prof. Ojat, Prof. Paulina, Prof. Ethel, and Prof. Maskuri. Hello, everyone. Okay, before we start, well, we will start this webinar by listening to the welcome speech by the Rector of Universitas Terbuka. Please welcome Prof. Ojat.
Okay, thank you very much. Good day, everyone, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Just before we get started, I would like to express my gratitude to all our speakers and moderator who so generously accepting our invitations. Professor Dr. Haji Maskuri Bakri, M.Si, my fellow, Rector of Universitas Islam Malang. Thank you, terima kasih Bapak. And he is also a Vice Chairman of the Indonesian Rector Forum, FRI. And our keynote speaker, a friend of mine, Dr. Ethel, Agnes. Thank you so much for your time. The director of the SEAMEO Bangkok. And also my senior, Prof. Pannen, Bu Paulina, thank you so much, Bu Paulina, the director of Indonesia Cyber Education Institute, or we call it Pusat Pembelajaran dalam Jaringan Indonesia. And also to all participants, on behalf of Universitas Terbuka, I would like to express my warmest gratitude for your participations in this webinar. It is my great pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to the 24th Knowledge Sharing Forum, Universitas Terbuka. Attendance, Bapak dan Ibu, the era of disruptions has resulted in increasingly diverse and specific competencies needed to enter the working world. Moreover, the COVID-19 pandemic has shown the importance of technology and encouraging online teaching and learning. In addition, rapid social, economic, and cultural changes often cause highly developed curricula to be used frequently, which often require sufficient processes and procedures. Therefore, there is a discrepancy between the industrial needs and those of the universities. This phenomena does underlie the emergence of micro-credential. Moreover, the Director General of Higher Education at the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology, Prof. Nijam, revealed that currently in developed countries, micro-credential or specific competencies enrichment are emerging. This enrichment is given to students with a specific background that is strong enough to be more in line with today's very dynamic needs. The need for micro-learning in Indonesia has been indispensable. And currently, Indonesia is facing a digital talent gap of 9 million talents. So it needs to catch up with human resource needs of around 600,000 talent every year. Attendance, UT as a pioneer of open and distance education in Indonesia, along with technological advances, has transformed into a cyber university. The transformation into a cyber university is part of UT efforts to increase access to education as widely as possible for the community. As one of the efforts to accelerate the increase in the gross enrollment rate of higher educations and to meet the various educational needs of the community, UT offers information technology-based program through degree and non-degree micro-credential program by online. And in order to answer the challenges of human resource needs, link and match between industry and universities, as well as the various educational needs of the community, UT, in collaboration with the Indonesian Rector Forum, FRI, or we call it FRI, organized the 24th series of knowledge sharing forum by virtual with the topic of upgrading knowledge and skill with micro-credential, or we call it sometimes micro-learning. So I hope this webinar will facilitate a very constructive exchange of knowledge, and I wish you a most fruitful day with interesting and stimulating discussion. Thank you very much, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Terima kasih. Thank you very much, Prof. Ojat, for the welcome speech. That is very insightful that Universitas Terbuka provide education as wide as possible for community. Okay. Now we are going to listen to the opening remark will be delivered by Professor Dr. Haji Maskuri, M.Si, who already with us today. Good morning, Prof.
Morning.
Okay. Professor Maskuri is the Rector of Universitas Islam Malang and also Vice Chairperson of Indonesian Rector Forum. Right, Prof? Okay. Please welcome Prof. Maskuri.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa syukrulillah, ala nikmatillah, wa la hawla wa la quwata illa billah, amma ba'da. Respectable Rector of Universitas Terbuka, Professor Ojat Darojat Ph.D., respectable invited speakers, Professor Paulina Pannen, M.Ls, Director of Indonesia Cyber Education Institute, Dr. Ethel Agnes, Valenzuela, Director of the SEAMEO Bangkok. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Indonesian Rector Forum, it's an honor for me to be here today to greet you all at the 24th of Knowledge Sharing Forum, Universitas Terbuka, KSF UT. In this episode, the Indonesian Rector Forum, Forum Rector Indonesia, in collaboration with Universitas Terbuka, present a webinar with an interesting topic, upgrading knowledge and skill with micro-credentials. My warmest greeting to Prof. Ojat Darojat, Director of Universitas Terbuka. Thank you very much for inviting me to be here today. Also invited speaker, moderator, audience, who are joining this 24 of KSF UT today. First of all, on behalf of the Indonesian Rector Forum, I would like to express my appreciation to Universitas Terbuka for delivering a useful webinar of knowledge sharing forum during this pandemic situation. The KSF UT so far has contributed to deliver the updated updated knowledge in keeping the learning motivation goes high among the learners, teachers, and other stakeholders. Therefore, this program needs to be retained as knowledge sharing has no end. Then, speaking of the theme present today, ability and skill with micro-credential, one of the significant challenges that higher education must handle it due to the shifting of student expectation about more choices in learning a process and subjects that directly relevant and immediately transmitted pandemic of COVID-19 has provided further stimulus for universities to allow for cost restructuring and modification, with learning technologies playing a bigger role than in the past. Micro-credentials are emerging as a valuable form of non-degree qualification, as they can offer flexible, inexpensive content which closely matches learners' needs. However, in practice, micro-credentials tend to be offered online and are often seen as short courses for learn to reskill and upskill for work. Moreover, based on available data, most learners who have been awarded micro-credential via massive open online courses tend to be relatively well-educated, male, and within the core working age group from 25 until 54. This issue will raise the key challenge in developing and implementing micro-credential, such as to what degree micro-credential would be beneficial for learners either professionally or personally, to what extent it can reach out to non-traditional ends, term of duration, modes of assessment, and whether micro-credential can lead to further qualification or not. Therefore, this 24 KSF UT hopefully will endorse discussion on those issues, and I hope there will be more forum to discuss micro-credential and their implementation in Indonesia. Last but not least, before I close my speech, on behalf of the Indonesian Rector Forum, I would like to wish you all the greatest success in your endeavors. I hope the partnership between us will belong lasting, and we may start developing further valuable event and program in the future. Thank you very much. Stay safe and see you later. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof. Maskuri, for delivering the opening remark that micro-credential is will be beneficial for learners to be more professional and qualified We hope so. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we start listening to our extraordinary speakers, we will have a photo session together. So to all the participants, you may open or turn on your camera so we can have a photo session together. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. The next slide. 1, 2, 3. Oh, still the next slide. Okay, next slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much for having your time to have a conversation with us together. Okay, let's continue our forum today. It is such an honor for our university, for Universitas Terbuka, because today we will be listening to discussion with the extraordinary speakers. Both of the speakers already here, Prof. Paulina and Dr. Ethel Agnes. Okay. The first speaker will be Dr. Ethel Agnes Valenzuela, Director of the SEAMEO Bangkok. Before we start the she starts the presentation, I will read her CV first. Dr. Ethel is presently the director of the SEAMEO, and she is the first female director since SEAMEO was organized in 1965. Wow. She serves as the first female deputy director for program and development of SEAMEO Secretariat from July 2015 to March 2019, and head of the SEAMEO Innotech Research Studies Unit. Okay, thank you and welcome, Dr. Ethel, to 74's Knowledge Sharing Forum. It is an honor for us to having you here. Okay, Dr. Ethel, you will have 30 minutes to deliver your presentation. We really hope to get many insights about the micro-credentials from you. Please, Dr. Ethel.
Thank you very much, Dr. Siti Hadianti, our very beautiful MC.
Thank you.
Honorable Professor Ojat, Darojat, the friend of SEAMEO Secretariat and the Chancellor, President, and the head of the Universitas Terbuka. Honorable Professor Dr. Maskuri, Honorable Professor Paulina Pannen, also our very active former SEAMEO Director of SIMULEC, right? And to everybody joining us today, Excellencies, distinguished speakers, esteemed guests, friends, teachers, organizers, a very good morning to everyone. I'm very honored to join you in this knowledge sharing forum. So I see that there has been a lot of exchanges, but this morning I will talk about micro-credentials. So I have a slide to share with you. I hope it's okay. And given the time, let me start with getting to know micro-credentials, the trends in Southeast Asia, the status where we are, and the way forward. So actually, there are many variations of alternative form of courses. And it has just risen fast during the pandemic. Qualifications derived from webinars, master classes, they are available as well from a wide range of providers, not just universities, business sector, and many others, international organizations. Some higher education institutions or training providers call them micro-credentials. They offer badges, certificates, micromasters, and they're like massive open online courses available for everyone, and many times in our region for free because we are in the pandemic. So technology, digitalization, major technological innovations have changed the way we teach, the way we live, and the way we qualify ourselves. So disruptors continue to dominate, and automation is here to stay. So let's find out, is this relevant? So now let's look at the international agenda. It is the United Nations. All member countries of United Nations have signed the Sustainable Development Goals. And that's why your discussion is timely. UN adopted SDGs, and we see that in goal number 4, quality education, we should provide accessible, quality, basic education and lifelong learning that includes the micro-credentials to ensure that students will acquire skills that enable them to participate fully in our society, to have jobs, to be employable, and to successfully transition in the new labor market, mostly online. So all over the world, regional groups such as SEAMEO and our counterparts in the world have responded by developing their own, vision for education. So let me go to SEAMEO. In the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, this, as we said earlier, is already 56 years old and composed of 11 countries in Southeast Asia. We have also associate member countries, affiliate, and SEAMEO centers, 26. We have our own agenda. So we promote early childhood, inclusive education, resiliency, TVET, teacher education, higher education harmonization, research, and 21st century skills. So these are all very relevant, and we can find micro-credentials in almost all, from early childhood up to 21st century skills. So because you see, we now estimate that almost half of all jobs will undergo substantial changes. Thus, we need to overhaul the entire education system. Within the next 10 to 20 years, everything will be changed. So the current workforce, regardless of your bachelor's degree, this has to be updated, right? So the demand for short learning options and recognition and validation of them is a day-to-day concern. Is this certificate, webinar, something, can they be recognized by ministries of education? This unprecedented surge in COVID-19 demanded online, remote learning, short, tailored courses. So it's just everywhere. So let us focus on all our courses given by our 26 centers and SEAMEO Secretariat. There are a lot. But we have also worked with partners, universities, in delivering our short MOOCs, or shall we say, giving micro-credentials badges in many of our events, courses online. So micro-credentials, these really will expand form of alternative qualification across a range field in higher education. They are small, discrete pieces of learning now offered online globally that can be combined with some of your credentials and validated with your knowledge, skills, competencies, and learners, employers, schools can use them. However, at this time, we don't have a universal understanding of what a micro-credential is, what is the attribute, and what would be the value. So for many of us in policymaking in higher education, we still have difficulties in studying all of this credit coming from different countries. I work as a technical panel of expert of the Commission Higher Education, in distance education, transnational education. Day by day, we see a lot of requests for accreditation of these credentials that are non-traditional. They are not ordinary diploma or higher education degree, but they bring to your table, I attended all of these, 50 Harvard or OpenU or SEAMEO, all of these credentials, then what now? So micro-credentials are an expanded alternative additional form of qualification in higher education, vocational education, and training. But it has to attest to the skills acquired or learning undertaken So that's why in every webinar you have, for SEAMEO, we have a validation question before you get a certificate. Not all will get certificate. So this is distinct from longer traditional qualifications such as diploma or degree. So next, so give credit where credit is due, right? So in Southeast Asia, we still have to work on a framework or a standard that will allow universities to accurately determine the extent of learning that a micro-credential attests. And it is very important. We need to ensure that it will enable that individual acquire knowledge, skills, and competencies they need. Also, it can support, providers like universities, training institutions, and SEAMEO to enhance flexibility, transparency of the learning acquired, and furthermore, foster inclusiveness and equal opportunity. So we need a regional framework, right? We are still working on that. Higher education institutions will ultimately set their own policies or procedures within the next 2 or 5 years, because we need recognition of prior learning or RPL or credit transfer. So we have lots of things to do. But I will share with you some good policies already or some activities undertaken by some countries. Next, I have to share with Australia. You can download what are the good policies, because micro-credentials, you need understanding first of these issues on micro-credentials. Now, we know there are a lot of massification in higher education and also diploma mills. We don't want to contribute to that. So Australia also offered, sort of guidance on micro-credentials, on the delivery, the design, and that covers universities and higher education providers, as well as corporations. We attend Microsoft, LinkedIn, all of these micro-credentials that, we also need to understand. So even in Australia, which is so advanced in education, there is no common definition or standard on what micro-credential is. So let's go to, their looking of the micro-credentials and in relationship to qualifications framework. In Southeast Asia, all countries are asked to do qualifications framework. We have ASEAN qualifications framework. And Australia will try to connect micro-credentials with their own qualification framework. So it is still a work in progress for standardization of micro-credentials and portability and recognition. If we go to the next part of the world, in Europe, they have also met and discussed because micro-credentials are coming out. So European approach is like enhancing or increasing personalized learning opportunities. Like it's a personal learning option. It's a personal learning opportunity, and it's part of lifelong learning. So it will help widen learning opportunities, and it will also empower higher education and vocational training institutions to promote lifelong learning that is more flexible, remote, or modular. So they have done that one in Europe, and they're still discussing on the flexible and inclusive learning paths that students will take, and learning that is more dynamic. Now, what is the plan in Southeast Asia? Let's go to Southeast Asia. So we're still studying. There are lots of things to study on micro-credentials, and we don't have yet digital education plan in the region. So maybe some countries have taken, like, during pandemic, they have empowered universities to help them in learning management system. But as a region, we will still do, studying all the government policies in 11 countries in line with access and micro-credentials and in line with lifelong learners, where workers and students will, dip back into a structured education and go personal learning choices with contemporary topic knowledge skills that are essential for their work. because things change, everything digital, and we are not ready in our own past credentials. So learners may access education, lifelong learning in every higher education institution, reskilling, and maybe these packets of skills, knowledge, personal development can be put in one Southeast Asian framework, and we're still there. We're getting there. Now, let us see micro-credentials in some ideas from countries. So they say that micro-credentials should have clear evidence of achievement or learning outcomes. It should be clear. What does the learner know? And what are they able to do after attending the short course? Second, micro-credentials have an understandable unit of exchange. So what is the level that you recognize? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10. Did they get 2, 3, 6? What is the level and depth of learning? Can they use it in their job? And 3, micro-credentials should be quality assured as well. There should be accreditation, but we don't have that system yet. We're still learning. So quality assurance that will ensure validity and integrity of all of the short courses that students, teachers, and learners have tried to get. Now, let us go to the next idea on recognition and transportability of credentials. So some students are asking me, I have 80 short courses from all Coursera or from Terbuka, SEAMEO, Open Universities. Now, how do I put this to my employer? So you see, at the global level, we have UNESCO with over 130 countries, and they have signed recognition of higher education qualifications. We have also in our region, Tokyo Convention, toolkit for the recognition of higher education qualifications. In there, because I was one of the writers of the Tokyo Convention and toolkit, we have their recognition of non-traditional courses. But now we have micro-credentials. In 2011, we are not talking about micro-credentials. We're only talking about courses from Open University and distance education. Now it has blossomed into a big one that maybe we need to meet again on the transportability. Can this be recognized? What is the trend? How do we treat these micro-credentials? So next is perhaps our own region's framework for action. We should not stop. We should talk. We should have conversation on how to mainstream micro-credentials, because they are just, it seems it's outside of higher education system, and it's not very clear because labor market needs specific training or experiences, and these micro-credentials can offer this, training and sort of competency. But we need also to study the relationship between the traditional higher education diploma degrees and the micro-credentials. Are they connected? We also need to provide better access, right? Information, recognition. We need digital education plan in Southeast Asia. So we need to work with Qualifications Authority, with ASEAN Qualifications Framework Team and SEAMEO Higher Education ministers. A lot of things to do at this time because this is very new. So finally, I would say that micro-credentials are here, and I think it will stay. It will allow additional skills, competencies, but we're not replacing traditional qualifications in higher education or in universities. But we need high quality, innovative, learner-centered micro-credentials and training. We need to define the link of micro-credentials to qualifications framework in all our countries in Southeast Asia. It's still in the process of development. And maybe if we have another forum next year, maybe we have the ready answer on the portability of micro-credentials. So thank you very much, Universitas Terbuka, for opening this opportunity for us to study all our small pockets of credentials and how it can be recognized in the current culture. So micro-credentials and recognition should really be considered with the change in my mindset of higher education policymakers, our own culture. So that is my sharing on micro-credentials in Southeast Asia and beyond. And thank you very much for your kind attention. And please feel free to visit our website for more courses, short courses that we make available online. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much, Professor Ethel. Sama-sama. Okay, such insightful presentation, and it really opened our mind because we have so many challenges, right? For this micro-credential, as you said, that even in Southeast Asia, we are still working on the framework. So we've got things to do. Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Ethel. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the second speaker, I want to remind you about the question and answer session. So we're still waiting for you. If you want to participate, you can ask questions to the speakers through the Zoom meeting chat or Q&A feature. I will present the selected questions to the speakers for the response. Don't forget to write down your name and your institution and to whom your questions will be addressed. We will choose 6 questions and give souvenirs to the selected participants. So make sure you participate in this discussion. And the e-certificate of participation in this forum will be given to participants who have registered, participated in today's webinars, and filled out the online feedback form. The link will be given by the committee after the webinar session is completed. Okay, so be there until this forum ended. Ladies and gentlemen, next let us welcome our second speaker, Professor Paulina Pannen, M.Ls, the Director of ICE Institute. Are you here with us? Okay. Good morning, Prof. Pauline.
Good morning. I'm here.
Yes, thank you very much for being here today with us. Before we start, I will read Professor Pauline CV. Professor Pauline completed her doctoral degree in instructional design, development, and evaluation from Syracuse University, USA. And during her career of more than 30 years, Prof. Pauline has served as the Regional Director of the Open Learning Center of the SEAMEO Simulec. She was also Vice Rector for Academic and Student Affairs at Universitas Siswa Bangsa International, and also as the Dean of the Faculty of Education, Universitas Terbuka. She was also chairperson of various task forces on the development and improvement of the quality of higher education in the field of e-learning and MOOCs in Indonesia. Also, she is very active in a discussion about distance education, educational technology, and curriculum development. She is also a writer and speaker at various national and international forums. She is an expert staff. She was an expert staff in Kemenristek Dikti, then became acting director of innovation systems and secretary of the COVID-19 Research and Innovation Consortium. Wow. Okay, now currently she serves as the chairperson of or director of Indonesia Cyber Education Institute in Open University in Universitas Terbuka. Such a long CV and very impressive. Okay. Prof. Pauline, you will be given 30 minutes for the presentation. And without further ado, please welcome Prof. Pauline.
Thank you very much, Ibu Siti. Thank you very much, everybody. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Prof. Ojat, thank you for the invitation, and Prof. Ethel, happy to meet you, and it's an honor to be in one forum together with you again. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share my presentation. I think, okay, what Prof. Ethel was just explaining just now, it's a nice introduction to the situation of micro-credential in Indonesia. She has brought up a lot of issues at the international level, and let us see what is happening actually in Indonesia specifically. Okay, the micro-credential actually has been endorsed by the government, and it was what we call legalized, officiated through the regulation under the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology number 3 in the year of 2020. Okay, it's about the national higher education standard, and in Article 18 it says that students are able to take to learn from any other study programs in a university or other universities. So it what we call it provides the students with flexibility of learning, and it was specified more deeply and more in details under the regulation of Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka, or we call it Freedom Learning Freedom Campus, which allows students to get engaged for 1 up to 3 semesters in 8 different activities of MBKM. Here is the different activities. Allow me to do the presenter view. Okay, so it's easier. Okay, this is the activities, the 8 activities, big activities there for students to take under Freedom Learning Freedom Campus for 1 up to 3 semester. They can involve in it. It's, you know, and then at the end of it, it is granted credits by the university where the students is registered, and it is called micro-credentials. Okay, the credits is up until 20 credits, so it can be less, but it cannot be more. And then why Indonesia is actually taking a very bold move while internationally the matter is not yet being settled. Okay, first of all, there is a need to take a look at the existing skills gap between university graduates and the needs from job market and industry. And the government realized that we need to do something which is massive, which is quick and rapid, and which can be guaranteed the quality. And then also, as Prof. Ojat said just now, that Indonesia actually needs digital talents, and we try to impose digital.
Sorry, Prof. Pauline, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Is it freezing? Because the screen is freezing in mine.
No.
Yeah,
It's
the slide is not
freezing.
moving. The slide is not moving.
Okay, I stop sharing. Okay, once again, I will share again. That moving?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay,
Yes,
one more.
already.
That's okay. One moment. Next. Okay. Moving? Is it moving?
Yes, already.
All right.
Prof.
All right. Prof. Ojat just now said that we need to have to develop digital talents in Indonesia because Indonesia needs digital talents, and it doesn't mean that IT people, okay, but for everybody to get involved in the very newest or what you call robust digital living, like what Prof. Ethel has said. Is because of the disruption of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Everything goes digital. So that's one thing that we need to do. Okay, and then one more. That's why Indonesia, the government already settled that we need to do micro-credential, which is fast, and then it is delivered online, so it will be imbibe all the digital skills necessary for developing digital talents in Indonesia. Okay, and then it is also answering to the skills gap between the university graduates and the needs of the job market. So micro-credential in Indonesia is a complementary part to regular on-campus learning. So it is not an alternative, but it is a complementary part, and it serves to fill the gap in the skills provided in college with those required in the world of work and industry. And then the government has already put a lot of programs, different kinds of micro-credential programs. First of all, we call it Credential Mikro Mahasiswa Indonesia, KMMI. 134 universities are participating in this program. And then we also have Magang Certificate, Studi Independent Bercertifikat. It is for internship and independent study, but certified. And then there is also another one, which is micro-credential certification for data scientists. And then especially for teachers, there is also micro-credential for teachers, headmasters, and also supervisor, school supervisor. Okay, there are various programs devised by the government, by the ministry right now, to fulfill the needs for the filling the gaps and also the in very fast and rapid ways. Okay, so the micro-credential in under the government's program is a program to achieve specific learning outcomes in a short period, especially to answer the students' learning skills gap. It is initiated or endorsed by the government. It is funded and subsidized by the government, and it is conducted mostly by formal education institutions, degree granting usually, like universities or institute or academy, and it is delivered in the form of MOOCs, but also conducted by several endorsed companies which allow transferable credits. Some companies, like for example Google's, Amazon Web Service, and then Microsoft and some other companies were participating. The government had already selected 155 providers of micro-credential out of the 400 proposals in 2022. So companies are welcome, but only the endorsed one. However, there is another side of the micro-credentials in Indonesia coming from the private providers. Private providers said, well, we do also micro-credentials and we cater to the needs of the industry specifically. And it was defined as certification for the development of specific skills which can be obtained easily through various online courses. And it is informal, it's in the form of training. It takes place in a relatively short time and a relatively affordable cost. And then also delivered online courses or MOOCs, flexible, effective, efficient, within the large selection. And then it varies according to the industrial needs. It can also be custom designed. And some research said that currently it has been evolving as a symbol of forward-moving learning person who never stops developing oneself. And that is a character of which is very much sought by the job market. And we have the provider in Indonesia, like for example, Purwadika, and then who else? Hakatif 8. Okay, and then there are also some other international providers. The local providers actually collaborate together with the international providers. However, there is another third party coming in, which provides standards of competencies. That is the BNSP in Indonesia. We have BNSP, the Professional Certification National Body, which provides standards for competencies of each profession, and the micro-credential is expected actually to cater this achievement of professional level in each profession, like a chef, a beautician, a welder, etc. So actually the micro-credential needs to be matched to that leveling of profession. And the BNSP is very, very strict in saying that your certification could not be recognized by their profession. So there is three parties, okay, from the academician, the private providers, and also the certification body coming as a triangle like this in Indonesia for micro-credential. Internationally, it has been discussed by Professor Ethel. UNESCO has a definition of micro-credential, although it is still drafted. Malaysian Qualification Agency, for example, has included micro-credential in their guidelines. And then also the accreditation agency for Universitas Terbuka, that is International Council for Distance Education, has also provided a definition of micro-credential. It means that they are looking at it as part of the accreditation process. So micro-credential, it is really developing internationally as well as in Indonesia. And it's very lucky for Universitas Terbuka to have Indonesia Cyber Education Institute, which first initially offers unbundled courses to everybody, all higher education community in Indonesia for credit transfer, and it is being recorded and documented by the blockchain technology so that students actually can select and make their own micro-credential package out of the 1,420 courses from EDX and also 260 courses from the ICE Consortium. The ICE Consortium are coming from top-tier universities in Indonesia, and also we are also supported by international agencies. Okay, and then and lucky enough, this year we are part of the micro-credential program under the Ministry of Education, Culture, and Research and Technology. especially for the game developer. It is designed specifically as micro-credential as opposed to this one. This one, we are only offering unbundled courses. Students can do whatever they want with those courses. They can bundle it themselves into micro-credential program and transfer to their university. However, this one, the game developer is already designed as a micro-credential program. And it is designed to tap the national challenge by our own president, Pak Jokowi, on developing Indonesia game industry and talents. It is a work of the consortium of 10 universities, and the operational program is just like this. Each students will be selected to go into each stream, different stream, and then at the end they will get into the captions project where they develop a game, and it will be selected. The best 50 games will be commercialized into the industry. And it has been just started on the 14th of February, so it is new, it is still going on. We will take a look at the end of the semester, how it is proceeding, and also what is the result. ICE Institute also promotes micro-credential based on the link and match to the industry, because we are aware that a micro-credential cannot be taken as it is without any context of needs. And the needs of the context of needs is especially the growing industry in Indonesia. So in August 2021, for example, we do a survey working collaboratively with a job market, provider. We found out this is the top industry in Indonesia, and then we go further to the top 20 job titles by demand and 20 top skills by demand. Further, we didn't end up on that situation, but we translate that into the contribution or collection of courses, of online courses in ICE Institute. So the collection of courses in ICE Institute needs to answer to those skills by demand, job by demands, and also the growing industry in Indonesia from time to time. Because every semester, the collection will be reviewed and refreshed. And then further, we also do what we call profiling, that is surveying or identifying gaps of skills owned by each student of the 5th semester, because they will be out of the university at the end of 8th semester. So the 5th semester, we survey what is your skills right now toward the job that you want to do after you graduate. And those gap is identified and then matched with the collection of ICE Institute. So that's what we were trying to do, and we will be doing it more delicately later on with our newest application. So moving forward, what can we do? Opportunities for micro-credential? Yes, it's plenty, because everything right now and everybody needs a very instant solution. So the speed of growing, the speed of offering, and the speed of needs is there. It's a bunch. Okay, opportunities is there. However, like Prof. Ethel said, we need a common definition, we need a common understanding and a framework which is matching between the industry and also the government and also the academician. Because otherwise the government will say, oh, micro-credential to me means A, while the industry said, no, it means B. While the academicians said that, No. It has to be C. Okay, so there is no link and match. We need to provide a common framework so that everybody is matching and everybody understand the same thing when we talk about micro-credential in Indonesia. From my slide, you can see there is still a gap of definition between the government and also the private providers and also the national standard body. And then the second thing is specification. Specification, as Prof. Ethel already explained, that what is actually the standard competency, the learning outcome expected, and the position of micro-credential. Is it for achieving standard competency in the professional field, or it is going to be a complement for learning in a study program curriculum, or it is just for fun or anything else? It needs to be defined specifically what is the learning outcome and how micro-credential achieve that learning outcome and standard competency and the position of micro-credentials. And then the other thing is about the credential itself. Prof. Ethel has already mentioned about the myriad providers of micro-credentials right now. And in Indonesia, it's true. There is a government providing micro-credentials with its collaborative partners. But there is also private providers. There is also other providers providing micro-credentials. What is the quality assurance? What is the standard? Can we trust those providers? Because otherwise you will get a certificate without any value at all. So that's my food for thought for today. Hopefully, yes, Prof. Ethel, we can have discussion more seriously regarding the micro-credential, although Indonesia has taken, once again, a bold step toward providing micro-credentials for Indonesian students. Thank you very much, everybody. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Prof. Pauline, for your very interesting presentation. From my small notes, so micro-credential is served to fill the gaps, right, between the skills that is provided in college with the industry. It is very interesting that you also tell the same thing, that we need the standard of this micro-credential. Okay, now, dear participants, for approximately maybe 1.5 hours, we have listened to a very insightful presentation from both of the speakers about upgrading knowledge and skills with micro-credentials. Prof. Ethel already told us about the micro-credentials in Southeast Asia and beyond, and Prof. Pauline explained to us about the micro-credentials and its relation with the MBKM program and what about the personal or private provider. It's very interesting. And so now we already have questions here, Prof. Pauline and Prof. Ethel. We will continue the forum by the question and answer session. But due to the time limit, we will only take 6 questions. So this is the first question for Professor Ethel from Indira Cahyani. What are the challenges faced by SEAMEO in boosting the micro-credential market in Southeast Asia, considering the different cultures of students across Southeast Asia? Please, Prof. Ethel.
Thank you very much. That is a very good question. Of course, we look at the success stories and we also look at the challenges. We don't have a perfect world. So as we have mentioned and highlighted, micro-credentials is evolving, right, Dr. Paulina?
Yeah.
So it's evolving, and it's because of the evolving labor market society we are in. So everyone, we transform our life into digital. And we need to help everybody, students, employees. They need preparedness for the new competencies, the new skills. So the challenge for us now is, as a regional body, we need to put all policymakers together and have a discussion on micro-credentials, transparency of their recognition, validation, and accreditation. And we also have to look at this as a very good opportunity to retool our manpower in the ASEAN region. That is what we would like, that everybody with education, micro-credentials, they will be recognized and they can work in any parts of our region, and the portfolio they have will be recognized. So the challenge now, because it's pandemic, we have been scheduling the higher education ministers meeting with, of course, the SEAMEOs, the Southeast Asia Massive Open Online Network universities. We have been scheduling. We tried to have that by next month in Phuket, but now today our COVID is 15,000. So every time I schedule, there will be a rise in COVID. So I keep on moving. And we have already Thailand, Philippines, and other countries who really plan to come. But the requirement quarantine. So maybe we will organize a hybrid event, and then maybe we will be ready within the year to submit a sort of framework for action on micro-credentials. So the challenges is still COVID. There is a solution, and there is also a challenge on that. Different cultures of students. We all have different cultures across Southeast Asia, but there must be a unifying framework, that everyone will respect. That's why our priority is to have the SEAMEO framework on action for micro-credentials. Then we can promote all courses across Southeast Asia. You can take this from Universitas Terbuka. This will be recognized in the Philippines, in Malaysia, in Singapore, wherever you go. It's portable, it's transferable. So yes, and we don't give up at SEAMEO, we don't give up. So we continue to face challenges, but there will be solutions. Hybrid, whatever, we are getting there. Thank you, Ibu Indira Kayani.
Thank you very much for your answer, Prof. Ethel. Next, the question for Prof. Pauline from Berlina Sution. What are the current most significant challenges in micro-credentials program development in the context of higher education in Indonesia?
Thank you. Very interesting questions, and I believe the answer is the same as Prof. Ethel's explanation just now, actually. First of all, recognition of the qualification or recognition of the credentials within the higher education institutions itself. When the government is already recognize it and already taking bold step to introduce micro-credentials, it is the academic tradition within the university that is a big challenge actually. They said, the micro-credential is not coming from our own university, and it will be a challenge for us to recognize it. So as simple as that. Okay. In addition, of course, the students and mostly the academic community are still kind of having fear toward implementing micro-credential or being the user of micro-credentials, because they are afraid that this program is a kind of what we call a false program, a fake program, or something like that, although it is being supported by the government. So that's the situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Pauline, for your answer. We go to the next question for Prof. Ethel. This is from Indah Kirana. Based on your expertise and experience, what aspects that you recommend for higher education institutions in Indonesia to prioritize the most in developing micro-credential programs?
Okay, I think this is a very good question for Dr. Paulina, being an expert in Indonesia. So actually my expertise is transnational and distance education in the Philippines, as I have been working with the policymakers there. But when it comes to Indonesia, we have seen from the presentation of Dr. Paulina that a lot has been done in terms of micro-credentials. And I'm very happy to learn that one from Dr. Paulina, that there is a support from policymakers, there is a continuing development of guidance. And what aspect can we consider as a priority in developing micro-credential program? So it's still the quality of the program. And then you match it with the number of our units or the value. So attending this particular program, for example, we developed the 4-module course, which is a micro-credential on teacher trainers for children with disabilities. So it has 4 badges, and then it's portable. For example, a 1 credit unit. This aspect has to be clearly specified. So for those who are developing their, micro-credentials, their courses online, you need to really look at the competency standards. In Southeast Asia, in SEAMEO, we have developed the competency standards for teachers. And there are a lot of content in that, the key competencies of teachers. So when we develop courses, we look at these core competencies and we develop it one after another and offer it as a course. So please prioritize quality, content, and value that you give to that course. And then it will facilitate recognition, validation, and transportability. Without good quality micro-credentials, it is just like any problem we have, which is something like of poor quality, and the students will not learn. So it's very important to look at quality of micro-credentials as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Ethel. Prof. Pauline, do you have any comment on this?
Yes, thank you. I will just add some a little bit to Prof. Ethel's explanation. I think what we need to do is we need to take a look at first, like Prof. Ethel said, the competency standard, which is already being managed and coordinated by the BNSP, yeah, Badan Nasional Sertifikasi Profesi. And then the other thing is we need to take a look at the industrial needs. That's why research on the what is the industries growing in Indonesia right now, etc., is very, very important. And then the other thing is that we need to take a look at our own university. What are we capable or good at putting into offerings to the public, to our students, in the form of micro-credentials? Of course, in that kind of offering, once again, like Prof. Ethel said, in addition to the coverage, we need also to really pin down the quality assurance for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Pauline, for the additional explanation. And this question is for you, Prof, from Nadia Elvarina. What can universities do to encourage students to increase their micro-credential badges to enrich students' knowledge and support the MBKM program?
Thank you. Very interesting questions. Actually, the answer to this is should be coming from what I call as a millennium students or Generation Z student. Okay, because lecturer like me, for example, we are called the traditional already. Okay, you have ideas how micro-credentials can be beneficial to you yourself. Okay, that's one thing. actually, there is a move, for example, in putting the micro-credential badges as a prestige to students. The millennium students likes to have, the badges available or feasible in their gadgets. So how can that badges be feasible in gadgets? That will encourage students to go into micro-credential. That's one thing. The other thing is that students need to understand that the micro-credential is being valued by the company, by the industry, valued by the place they are going to work outside the university later on when they graduate. Okay, so if it is not valued, if it is only a piece of paper, they don't feel it is necessary for them to go into micro-credential. And then the other thing is that for the students, actually micro-credential is just giving you kind of what you call a loan in the bank. Okay, you collect 4 courses, for example, for 20 credits, then you can put, okay, I have achieved these competencies with this 20 credits, and then I will go to another what we call a micro-credential program, and then I will put another block of micro-credentials and learning competencies I have achieved. So it's a kind of building blocks. It makes your life easier for students, actually. So to what I understand right now is that, okay, the government has already given micro-credential a go. The university has already provided some micro-credentials, 114 universities, and then also Universitas Terbuka, for example, have already provided micro-credentials, but the what we call the benefit of micro-credential is not really apparent for the students. So I think, Nadia, if you can go into your colleagues, your friends, for example, students, saying that, okay, what is the benefit of micro-credential? That will be a boost for micro-credentials in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Pauline, for your question. Sorry for your answer, I mean. Okay, next for Prof. Ethel from Muhammad Irham. Based on your experience in micro-credential accreditation, what needs to be considered in establishing a quality assurance system for micro-credentials in higher education?
Thank you very much. It is a very good question. So as you see, since 2000, I've been working with UNESCO on the recognition of higher education qualifications, the development of Tokyo Convention, and we have all guidance, we have all the toolkits. I think we need to work on accreditation. This is still our problem. In the instance of the Philippines, for example, we have an accreditation system for regular courses. It's already established. And there are process, there are indicators, easy to do. But for micro-credentials and non-traditional qualifications, it's very challenging. So we need the framework. As I said, there is a framework that everybody will respect and will adapt. And once we have this, we can put all indicators of quality assured micro-credentials. So we need to talk, we need to have a dialogue, we need to have an agreement. And this agreement is important. Because on a day-to-day basis, I receive a lot of requests for accreditation of transnational programs. Some are small, some are non-traditional, and some are ordinary programs. That means traditional programs of bachelor's or master's degree. But now everybody get into micro-credentials and they want this accredited. They spend a lot of time. They also pay, if you do Coursera, you have to pay as well in dollars. So what is the value of that? So thus we need quality assurance. Many of the courses, micro-credentials, have that, but not all. That is why in our region, there are many providers. There are many providers outside of higher education institutions. So we need to have a framework on the quality assured micro-credentials, on the agreed framework. This one we will accredit, this one will not. There is a process for accreditation we need to establish yet. So thank you for that question. They will all be considered in the discussions of our ministers for higher education and open universities, hopefully soon.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Ethel, for your answer. We go to the next question from Reski Andreas. This is for Prof. Paulin. How do we, as a college student, know the trends and needs in the career field when we are still in the higher education and training phase?
Thank you, Reski. That is challenging. The questions is very challenging. Okay, I think if we are staying in our campus, go day by day to the campus and involved in all the activities in campus, we are kind of, what do you call, coming into an incubator. Everything is good while you're a college student. Everything is good while you are students. Okay, when you go outside, suddenly you find a different world. Okay, that's why the MBKM program is actually preparing you to be a different person who can answer to that different world. It's not somebody who only knows their campus, their institution, their classroom, and their colleagues, but you know something else outside your university, outside your college, that is the world of industry, the world of working, the community, and everything else, even international situation. So that's why the MBKM is designed actually to equip you with those kind of experience. You have 3 semesters to be able to go into the field of career. You can do an internship in any industry that you feel like, okay, and in any industry or company that you feel that one day I will be an employee there, or you can do something which is of your own entrepreneurship. That's one thing. The other thing is that you can do an independent study, studying with international courses, taking international courses from abroad, for example, without you having to go abroad, okay? But you still can go together with the group of international students taking the same courses with you, okay? I had an experience, one of my students taking a course in Tsinghua University in China, for example, and they have 130 students coming from at least 50 countries in the world. So it's totally different from what will you have in your own college, in your own classroom. So there are about 8 or more programs and activities that you can do under MBKM program, so that you know the outside world, the outside of campus world, the public. You need to assist, for example, in building the bridge, in reading, in digital literacy, and also the international situation. You can be a group together with international students, and you can do a project, you can do an internship in the companies, in the industry, all sort of things. So that's why MBKM is actually equip you with those kind of skills and horizon for you to be ready outside your campus later on when you graduate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Paulina and Prof. Ethel, because we have some time left. So we will add 2 more questions. Okay. To Prof. Ethel from Risha Andini. Micro-credential program is relatively new to SEA market, Southeast Asia market, compared to Europe or US. What can we learn from them to be applied in Southeast Asia?
Thank you very much, Ms. Risia Andini. That's a very good question. As I have shared earlier, even advanced countries in Europe and also in Australia, New Zealand, we are uncovering micro-credentials. We're learning from micro-credentials, the rise of micro-credentials in response to digitalization and digital age. So what can we learn from them? They have already done their discussions on the development of framework for European countries. So they have already started developing their guidelines, their protocols, and how they can promote portability. And they have action plans. It's not very rush. So they planned the phases by year up to 2025. And that is what we learn from them. So this year as well, as we do the SEAMEO strategic plan, and we have already incorporated digitalization in many of our aspects of work in Southeast Asia, what we can do now is to do as well our own digital education agenda, and that will include respect and valuing micro-credentials. Because this is the new thing, this is the new trend, and I think it will stay longer than any other fad that come and go. So micro-credentials will always be useful, and they will always be inviting you to enroll in their courses for free or with pay if you need certificates or something like that. So it is new, but it is fast spreading. Micro-credentials is available now, even in many of our countries, even in Timor-Leste or even in Cambodia and Laos. But as a region, we need to agree on the framework of recognition, validation, and accreditation system for micro-credentials. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your answer, Prof. Ethel. And this will be the last question for Prof. Paulina from Arfan Ibrahim. A micro-credential program is an interesting program to develop skills. However, how do you explain the shortage of infrastructure in some parts of Indonesia? How is it applicable despite the inequality condition in Indonesia?
Thank you. Thank you very much for very good questions, Arfan Ibrahim. Pak Arfan, actually, first of all, Universitas Terbuka is the best for taking care or offering services, education services to the remote, secluded, and disadvantaged areas. Okay, because Universitas Terbuka is right now just like what we call a supermarket. Anything is available, and you can mix and match, and the provision of service also is multi-channels. Okay, so it can reach out to even the remote area, the disadvantaged students. But Universitas Terbuka alone cannot be solving that kind of problem. So we work together with technology company. Like, for example, Google right now is already offering a Google Chromebook, which is a kind of a small laptop, and is already filled with all the what we call learning materials and learning resources within that Chromebook, in the hard drive, and it is offered to everyone in Indonesia, and it can be working even without internet. So it is very potential for us. So don't worry about the shortage of infrastructure. let the government think about it, okay? And we think about how we can use the technology, how we can take advantage of the of Universitas Terbuka to enrich ourselves and to develop our skills and to develop our people's. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Pauline. That will be the end of our question and answer session. Let's give applause for both of our speakers. Thank you very much. Okay, if I can share a bit of, maybe we can call it as a summary. So actually, we have many opportunities, okay, to upgrade our knowledge and skills with microcredentials. We can take many courses now with MBKM program, with private providers. However, we also have challenges because we need the same standard, the framework, and to make sure the quality is the quality assurance is there, like that. Okay, thank you very much for both of the speakers. I wish we have more time to discuss. Maybe next time, Prof. Ethel and Prof. Pauline, to discuss more about this topic. And it is nearing our closing. Sorry, can you, yes, can you please mute your, okay, thank you very much. It is nearing our closing, and now let's hear the closing statement first, maybe before we end our forum, from Prof. Ethel, maybe the closing statement for our today's webinar.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Ojat and Professor Paulina and the whole team, to the staff of Universitas Terbuka. We're very happy we're working with you, and you are one of our leaders in this micro-credentials and in information sharing, knowledge sharing. Congratulations, and please enjoy your day, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, the next closing statement from Prof. Pauline. Please, Prof.
Thank you, thank you. Micro-credential is already here with us, and the best thing we can do is how we can take advantage of it. And the other thing is that we, as the provider and also as the user of those micro-credentials program, I think we are also responsible to keep the quality assured of that micro-credential. It is for us, it is for our nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Pauline and Prof. Ethel. Okay, next we will be giving digital certificate to both of the speakers, and here already join us, Prof. Ojat. Prof. Ojat, please, maybe you can give the digital certificate for both of the speakers. The first is Prof. Ethel. Okay, please, maybe the committee can show. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ethel, my friend. This is the digital certificate for you, and I will send while using FedEx or something else to go to Thailand. This certificate.
Thank you, Prof. Ojat and Prof. Ethel. Next for Prof. Pauline. This is the digital certificate.
Thank you, Pauline.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we end this forum, maybe Prof. Ojat wants to say something to both of the speakers and the participants.
No, just say thank you very much for both of you, to the keynote speakers.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Ojat, Prof. Pauline, and Prof. Ethel, and all of the participants. Okay, before we end this forum, I would like to tell you some information. So the names of participants whose questions were selected before the 8 questions will be contacted by the commenter by email. And I think you will get the souvenir. Okay, and please fill out the online feedback form no later than 30 minutes after the webinar is over. So once you get the link, please fill out the online form because it is only for 30 minutes, okay? Next, e-certificates will be sent to the participants who have registered and attended the webinars, and also filled out the feedback form. And participants can download the speaker's presentation material through a link that will be provided by the KSF Universitas Terbuka Committee. Okay, we thank you very much to all the speakers, Prof. Paulin, Prof. Ethel, Prof. Ojat, for being here with us today, giving us a very insightful knowledge information, and also the participants who have attended this webinar. Good afternoon, and see you again in the next knowledge sharing forum. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See ya.
Okay, see you. Thank you,
Thank
Ethel.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
See you in
Thank you,
Jakarta.
everybody. See you. See you.
See you.
Bye.